I'm saying let's go, you're saying maybe. Let's find a disco. You're stuck at home being so lazy. Hey. Give me some, give me some, give me some, give me some, give me some energy. Wanna come, wanna come, wanna come, wanna come, wanna come dance with me. Give me some, give me some, give me some, give me some, give me some energy. Wanna come, wanna come, wanna come, wanna come, wanna come dance with me. There's no fire without smoke, I ain't letting you go. I can see you buzzing like you can't say no. There's no fire without smoke, I ain't letting you go. Come on, let yourself be free. Be the best that you can be. Come move your body, come move your body. Only settle for the best. Live your life with no regrets. Come move your body, come move your body. You must be crazy, turning me down like that is pretty.
So the main question is, after you have organized one of your spaces for the very first time, how long does it stay organized? Let me know in the comments down below. For me, it's been about 1.5 years since I've organized this pantry, about a year since I've organized our kitchen drawers, and about a few months since I've organized the refrigerator. So those are the 3 areas that we're going to focus on in today's video. So from complete disaster, like no, seriously, disaster, to perfectly organized, to several months, even years have passed, and now we are reorganizing. So I'm going to go through everything, give you all of my recommendations, my tips, what products I use, what I didn't like so much after using them for a long time, and any changes that I need to make to my organization process that just wasn't functional, or any ways or ideas that I know that I can make that space more functional. So as I'm getting started, I wanted to thank Ritual for sponsoring today's video. I've seen lots of people recommend Ritual, which is why it caught my attention. I'm not always great with taking vitamins, but being pregnant, it's an absolute necessity. So the Ritual Essential Prenatal Multivitamin was designed to help fill nutritional gaps in the diet with obsessively researched nutritions for you and baby before and during your pregnancy. One unique thing about the Ritual prenatal vitamins is not only are they citrus flavor, so they're easy to go down, they are designed for delayed release, so they are gentle on the stomach as well as vegan friendly. They are formulated with 12 key nutrients in high quality bioavailable forms. So the key thing about prenatal vitamins opposed to multivitamins is that they contain folic acid. So up to 1/3 of the population have a genetic variation that can make it difficult to effectively use folic acid. So this is why Ritual uses methylated folate to help bypass this genetic variation. This product is also non-GMO certified, gluten-free, and formulated without major allergens. They offer a subscription service that can give you flexibility and consistency you want. And if you don't love Ritual, within 30 days, your first order is on them. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the recommended dosage, which is just 2 capsules a day. They also offer a daily multivitamin for your everyday needs. And in partnering with them, they are offering all of y'all 20% off your first order. All you have to do is use my link in the description code down below, and my code is MO20. So if I'm being completely honest, I don't think that the pantry is all that bad. I try my hardest to keep up with the pantry. I think having the pantry and drawers, like clothing drawers, are 2 of the most important things to have organized, or at least have been game changer-ish for me, you could say. So I'm not if you're new here, so my name is Michelle, and I'm not a like super great organizer or like obsessed with organizing or like belong on the home edit show or anything like that. I got encouraged to start organizing. Like it never even crossed my mind to buy bins or do things or organize. Everything had a place, but it just wasn't pretty, I guess you could say. And it wasn't super functional, but I just kind of learned to like deal with it and work around the mess. And then, when a lot of these like organizing shows came out and a lot of YouTube videos came out, then I was like, wow, organizing is like a real thing. And wow, it does seem like it can make your life easier. So over the last 2 years, I want to say, is when I was like, okay, I'm going to start organizing things. I'm going to be like really organized. I'm going to try and be one of those people. I'm going to see how well I can keep it up. Because probably that was one of my biggest fears is if I spend all this time organizing, if I spend all this money on these pretty baskets or, bins and stuff like that, is it really going to be kept up with? Am I going to be able to be in that habit of constantly keeping it clean? So I would say like some things, not so much, but the two biggest things that have been just game changer, if you're like deciding to start organizing or if you're not, as organized and want to become kind of organized, are going to be the pantry and my drawers like for clothes. So when I first started organizing the pantry, and I'll take you down memory lane, I'm going to link that very first video down below because it was so bad. Like my pantry was really bad. I got rid of so much stuff that was expired in 2012. Like that's how long that I've had some of the stuff. So this is actually not that bad compared to, when I very first started. But I feel like I've been able to keep up with this space the best because it's made the biggest impact in just day-to-day life. So what I'm doing now is I've just kind of started one shelf at a time. I started from the floor and I'm going upward this way because the floor part wasn't that bad. Sometimes I like to, if it's a huge task that I need to take on and it seems a little bit overwhelming and unmotivating because you just kind of don't know where to start. I start with something that's easiest. So that way it's just like, okay, this is a no-brainer. Let me just take this out or let me just wipe this down. So that's like kind of a no-brainer thing. So, breaking the project into smaller parts is really helpful. And then it gives you the momentum. So once you get like one shelf done, then you can say, okay, well, let me go on to the next shelf. Sometimes big organizing projects are like take absolutely everything out. That's what I did the first organizing project. And I remember that I didn't think that it would really take me that long. I was like, okay, probably all this stuff's expired. It took me 8 hours to organize the pantry, and I was like dying at the end. But anyway, I know that this isn't going to take me nearly as long as that. So when I first started this project, the thing that I first wanted to do was pick a theme. You go on Pinterest and you see all these pretty pantries and you see like wicker baskets and wood baskets and white baskets and black baskets in all different colors, and the way that they're labeled and the way that they're all done is all different. And you're just kind of like, well, I don't know what baskets to buy. I don't know what size to buy. I don't know what, space that I have. And when I very first started this, not being a pro and kind of doing it for the very first time, I just kind of said, well, I think I'm just going to buy white baskets and kind of keep it clear and white only. I know that I'm going to need a couple bigger baskets for like breads and stuff. And then I kind of worked my way through that. So I got the white baskets. I got a lot of stuff from IKEA. I went to the store there, picked out a couple of things, and then started buying a couple of the clear organizer baskets. I tried to think about what are some of the things that I buy a lot. I buy a lot of granola bars and things that I want sections divided in. So I went ahead and got some of those from Amazon. And then I just kind of, if there was a couple of things that I bought that didn't work, I used them in different areas and just kind of worked my way and maneuvered about, what I think works and what doesn't. Later on, after I had organized some of the spaces, then I went and bought an additional Lazy Susan. just because there were some things that I needed afterwards. So don't feel overwhelmed if you feel like you have to buy like all of the bins right at the same time and get everything done and get it all picturesque and perfect. You know, you just you start with some things and then work with and say, oh, well, now I buy, some of this. Maybe I could put this on a Lazy Susan, or I have extra back stock, like an extra thing of ketchup and an extra thing of this that go in the refrigerator, but I don't need it in the refrigerator until I'm ready to use it. So let me store some of that stuff in the pantry. So my goal was to make it feel really realistic for our lifestyle and not just pretty. Like what would the home edit do it like, or what would this person do it like? So I can take a pretty picture. It's like, no, what are the things I use? What are the baskets I need? And how can I best organize this space?
Want to keep it nice and clean, not freak out and cause a scene. I try to hold it together, keep it together. Not sure who I really am, just be cute and super bland. I try to hold it together, keep it together. Been playing it down, but I'm so getting tired.
Another thing that we came to realize after about a year or so is that we have 2 toddler girls, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and we would slowly have to start moving things from like the bottom shelf to the top shelf, because what would happen is, they would come in and start opening up snacks and then just leaving them laying around the house. So there were things that at the age that they're at that I want them to ask me if they can have it, opposed to just allowing them to go in and get a snack when they want. Now, I'm sure when they get older, it's like they can go in and grab whatever they want, and I may move some of those snacks to the lower shelves. But for now, I realized that they, first I had them kind of on a lower shelf. They would just take things, like I just mentioned, open it, leave it out, go get another snack, open it, leave it out. And I'm like, you're just wasting snacks. So why don't you just ask me, and then I will see if you can have one snack or so forth. So picking kind of a functional space depending on your lifestyle and the other people in your house as well is something to also think about when you're trying to organize.
'Cause I've been feeling that crazy, and I need to lose control. So baby, put the record on. Baby, put the record on. Hit it. And I've been needing that crazy, and I gotta let it go. So baby, put the record on. Am I gonna need that song? Hit it.
So another thing you might notice is that we don't have a ton of snacks either. Like I don't have a bunch of bins with Oreos and all different types of snacks all piled in, nice and neat. I'm thinking of Khloe Kardashian's pantry when I think of this. But what the reason being is that I know this sounds contradictory, but I'm a huge snacker, and I cannot have snacks in the house because that's the only thing I will eat. And same with my kids, same with, whatever. So what I try to do is keep the snacks in the refrigerator, like snacks like fruits and stuff like that, opposed to just having a ton of easy processed food laying around, easily able to grab in all of these bins and stuff like that. So snacks are kind of minimal because I like them so much, and it's just easier for me not to have them, or at least a ton of them, in the house that are easily available for me when I will have to think about forcing myself to go and grab a piece of fruit opposed to grabbing, a handful of cookies. So when I first started off, I also used to have a ton of those cereal containers that are right there. I think I originally bought 4 or 5 of them. And, I would dump the cereal in them, and then they were on the very top shelf. And what happened is over, the course of a year or so, I would grab them and they would fall, or I would grab something on the top shelf it would tip that over, fall, and then break. So I've broken about three or four cereal containers, and I have not replaced them. So I get the question, or at least from friends actually, they're like, well, does the cereal go stale? Or I don't use the cereal containers because the cereal will go stale. So these ones I bought from IKEA, and I think it depends how fast you go through your cereal. If you plan on having your cereal sit there for like 3 weeks or so, then I've noticed that sometimes the cereal does go stale. But if I'm able to go through it in like a week or so, then I have not seen a problem with it. So that's just something to keep in mind. Somebody said the OXO, I don't know, OXO brand of cereal containers, works really well. So I went on Amazon and I looked for those, and they're pretty expensive. So I don't know yet if I want to keep my stuff in cereal containers because it looks nice, and you can see how much you have and when you need to buy more, or if I just want to keep it in cereal boxes. You guys can let me know in the comments below if you have that brand, the OXO brand of cereal containers, or if you prefer a specific brand, or if you prefer not to keep yours in containers. So another thing is our top shelf got so cluttered. The reason being, like I mentioned before, is we started putting candy, and I think like when we get Halloween candy, Easter candy, any type of candy like that, it all goes at the very top shelf, obviously, so the kids don't get it. So anything that needed to be organized in our pantry, that was the number one thing that I wanted to go through and fix. So I realized because of that, I needed an extra container or something to store in the excess candy or anything that I need out of reach of children, which I had not thought about before.
Life goes up and it goes down. I know my mom taught me that. I figured why we fool around so little, and we keep track of time, being so serious. Idiots thinking it will matter, keep me company downtown before the clock runs out. Sun is shining but the rain is...
So let me just remind you what it looked like real quick. Like I said, not terrible, but definitely needed some love.
And then I remember all things must pass, but I'm not gonna wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up.
And here is what it looks like after. Cleaned up the top a little bit, got a new container for some of those snacks and candy that I want to keep higher up on the shelves. Went through some of the food, the expired food, and got rid of, and just kind of reorganized everything. Also was able to clean off all of the shelves and inside of the baskets, and pretty much just keep it simple, clean, and as organized as I need for the space and the family that we have.
Details that actually mean something. Sun is shining but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then
my next project area in the kitchen to reorganize are some of these junk drawers. So one issue is these never-ending cords. These range from like iPhone chargers to like the tablet, the kids' tablets, to Chris has an Android, I'm an iPhone user, so we have two different types of phone charger cords, and we kind of use this drawer for more of like electronic stuff and plugs, flashlights, and then also some extra like nails and anything that came with something. Like a lot of the light fixtures we change out came with extra parts, so anything that was extra I have in little baggies in the corner that go to things like that. The 2 white bins in here are from IKEA, and this is just a picture of what it looked like before I had any type of bins in there whatsoever, and before I organized this drawer for the very first time. So the main downfall of what's not working in this space are mainly the chargers and the flashlights. And I will say that the girls come in here and they try and look for chargers for their tablets, and they just start grabbing all of them and unrolling them to figure out which one will work for their tablet. So my goal here is to create 3 different sections for the different types of phone chargers. So one would be for like my iPhone charger, the second one would be for Chris's Android charger, and then the third one is like the third main space is going to be for it's like an Android tablet. I don't know what type of charger that is, but basically that's my goal in this space, is to really define those 3 different chargers so that we can pull it when we need it. Also, back then when I had organized this drawer for the very first time, I bought these little cord magnets, and they're like little ties so that you can roll up the cords, and then the magnet part, you wrap it around and the magnet will keep it in place. So these come in different colors, and I got them on Amazon, and they stick together. So basically what I'm doing is going to wrap the cord up in like a little ball, and then you get the magnet. It's like a tie, but they're rubber, and then you wrap it around the cord so that it will stay rolled up, and then you can wrap it around as many times as you need to. So depending on if the cord is like thicker or not as thick, and then the magnet just holds the cord together. So what I've noticed over the last year is that the problem is that once these little ties or magnet things get untied, then I'm the only one who goes back and ties them up. So this is why I'm going to go back through this area and figure out the best way that I can make this space functional to where it doesn't get like that again.
Let me feel your love again. 'Cause I've been running round in circles, screaming out your name. Take me to a different place. Just the 2 of us, and we can stay up all night, kissing under streetlights, doing what we want to, doing what we need to do, staying up all night. Everything is alright. Oh, I wanna be with you. Oh, I wanna be with you. Let me be the someone who can hold your hand. You can understand how you make me feel. I got you in my head. Oh, I wanna be with you. Oh, I wanna be with you.
So after having this space organized for like a year or so, and realizing that the cords are the biggest pain point in this area and probably the most used spot in this area, then I decided to grab my little label maker and make labels for which phone charger goes in which area. So like either the iPhone charger, the Android phone charger, or the tablet chargers are going to go in different sections of this drawer. Now I use these drawers a lot. I got them from IKEA. I cannot find them online, but I absolutely love them. I have 3 of them in different drawers as well. So the Android tablet charger is going to go in the front. That way, if the girls need to grab it for whatever reason, they know that it's always going to be in the very front section. Mine's going to be in the back, and then Chris's will be in the middle. So now they know which one it is, and hopefully we can keep this drawer a little bit more maintained.
Just the 2 of us, and we could stay up all night, kissing under streetlights, doing what we want to, doing what we need to do, staying up all night.
This next drawer I'm moving on to is really not that bad. I just have some like non-stick, well, they're supposed to not slide, and they did slide underneath there, as well as like some dirt and stuff. So that's kind of my main goal. It's not really necessarily reorganize this, but to clean it out a little bit better. Now I do recommend putting your like foils and papers in a drawer if you can, if you have extra drawers. We used to keep them in the pantry, and when I reorganized everything for the first time, then we moved them into this drawer, and it's so much easier to find. So this next drawer is kind of another junk drawer that's accumulated a lot of clutter that I'm gonna go back through and go through. Now, I don't know, this is all like random stuff. And I think when I did one of my really big kitchen organization, I got a lot of negative feedback just for having stuff and why I'm not a minimalist and why I have all this stuff. I should just, get rid of basically everything except for one item of each thing. And I got that from multiple people, not everybody, but I guess that's why I'm very vocal about like, I'm not a minimalist. So I don't want you to come on here thinking that you're getting like minimalist motivation and it's not what you expected. So I have nothing against being minimalist. Trust me, not at all. I think the concept is absolutely great if it works for you. But like some of the feedback I was getting in earlier videos was like, why do you have more than 2 pans? I didn't know I wasn't allowed to own more than 2 pans, right? Like I have more than one person in my family. My husband cooks a lot. He prefers cast iron pans, big pans. I hate cast iron pans. I don't know why. I just don't like them. So then I have a set of pans that I like using. So instead of like trying to be minimalist and then fighting with each other all the time about this and that, it's just easier to have a couple of things. Obviously, I don't like clutter, and I know I don't need to explain myself, but just know that like everyone has a different functioning system and everyone has a different family, and not everything works for everyone. So, just kind of do what you can do and do what works best for you. All right, so my little rant is over, and now I'm moving on to the next drawer, which is not that bad at all. In fact, it already looks organized. So what my main goal here is to just kind of make sure that everything is in the appropriate section that I had it in, and kind of put it back and go through, get rid of a couple of the things that I may not use or need. Here again is one of the other of those white organizers drawers, and the reason why I like these so much is because it really does help keep all of these little things contained without having to buy like 6 or 7 different drawer containers. Like I said, I did get this on IKEA, and I cannot find a link to it, but when I went to the store at IKEA, literally it's like, I think it's $5 or something extremely inexpensive. Like I said, I can't look on the store and see again, but that is one of my favorite compartment things. Now, this is Chris's drawer, and we've never really organized this drawer. I have an extra one of those white organizers that I had been meaning to use, and I kind of wanted him to go through all of this stuff to tell me what he needs, what he doesn't need, and how he wants it organized. But it's been like a year, and he still hasn't fully gone through it. So what I'm going to do is kind of take all these papers out that he needs to go through separately, and then organize it as best as I can. And then there's a couple things that I'm not sure of what they are. So I just wait for him to come home and let me know if he needs it or not.
Call a lie, and I'm putting myself in situations, standing on my own. They say that you love a confrontation, and that everybody knows your white lies, white scars, wild nights, dive bars, burning me out, you're burning me out, and I'm putting myself in situations.
So as I was taking everything out, I was trying to categorize it as best as I could on the counter. So that way I had it in different sections, like the batteries or whatever it may be, so I can go through it then. Now, like I said, I didn't know what everything was and if he needed everything. So some of this stuff was a little bit difficult to organize if it's not your stuff and you're not sure what it's used for or if it's necessary or not. So I definitely tried to organize it as best as I could. So here is the white tray that I had stored that I planned on using for this drawer already. And the first thing that I'm going to do is put back some of the pens and markers, get rid of anything that's in a box besides the batteries, I think, and then have little sections for the things that are most important. So the most important thing for him are keys to specific things. So I tried to keep that closer to the front of the drawer. And then anything that wasn't used as much or as often, I tried to put that in the compartments in the back of the drawer. I kept the space on the left open. The reason being is because he will have a lot of papers, or there's important mail that needs to be looked over, things that he needs to kind of take action on. So I didn't put any type of compartment or drawer or bin there. So that way it's open for papers, mail, more important type things, and it can fit in that space.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes.
So what is the hardest space for you guys to keep organized in the kitchen? For me, it is the refrigerator. For me, it doesn't stay cleaned and organized for more than a couple weeks, or maybe not even that, at a time. Now, when I very, very first organized the refrigerator and added containers, those are liners, which are amazing. Those are probably my favorite thing to have in the refrigerator. But I used to have all of these containers, and I'd really tried to make it really pretty, like a lot of the other YouTubers. And what I found was that a lot of the stuff we eat changes a lot. So, or we have leftovers, or we have boxes, or we need to put Tupperware in there. So I ended up taking a lot of the containers out, just saying that that's not how it works best for me. So, yeah, we also tend to have a lot of old food and expired food that I need to go through more often. I need to do it every time I go to the grocery store, which is about once a week, but sometimes I don't. I leave really fast. I go to the grocery store and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I need more of this or that. So let me just buy more of it. And then not knowing that there's still a little bit left. But overall, the number one thing from when I very first organized the refrigerator was getting the refrigerator liners. That way you can just take the liner off and wash it, instead of having getting stuff all over the shelves and having to take those out and clean them. And then not having so many containers. I do have a couple, but not overwhelmingly overloaded full of containers. But since I don't have a ton of refrigerator tips, then I want you guys to leave me a comment down below and let me know what is the best thing that works for you as far as keeping up with your refrigerator, keeping it cleaned and organized, and give me all of the tips below. And this way you guys can check out some of those comments and some of those suggestions and see a little bit more of what might be helpful for you.
We used to hang around town pretty late. I spent the week thinking about our next day. It was easier then, so much easier then. Or like that time I picked you up outside of school. You said, screw my dad, I make my own rules. It was easier then, so much easier then. Take me back to those easy summer days when we stopped at nothing, baby. Yeah, we stopped at nothing, baby. They couldn't take us, they couldn't change us, they couldn't catch us if they tried. Now we didn't care at all about winter or spring or fall. We felt so alive, and girl, we were thriving on kisses and sunshine and mischief. Yeah, we had one of those things. We just had one of those things. I guess I've had some things to figure out, but now that I'm done, I'm full of doubt. Was it easy for you? Yeah, was it too easy for you? You used to say that you would always be mine, but you seem to be doing just fine. Now I think about you, I just can't seem to stop thinking about you. Take me back to those easy summers.
If you can't tell by a lot of the foods that I buy, they're all really like simple type things, like lunch meat for sandwiches, yogurts, fruit, for snacks, and then like salad kits for lunches. So I have not been the best cook person, or like things that I need to check, right? Like this cheese that is so moldy, like it's probably been in there for a long time. So kind of embarrassing, but that's just sometimes how it goes. But I am not the best at cooking. I am more impatient, so I don't like enjoy cooking, but sometimes I will go on sprees where I just want to try new things and cook a lot. And then there's times where I'm like, I need it to be as simple as possible. So Chris does cook a lot more than I do, or let's say like he'll grill. So that's why I don't have a ton of like things, lots of vegetables, chopping up things for cooking. It's all pretty simple stuff. So I know that I will get back into it a little bit later, but right now I've totally been in like a cooking rut, totally unmotivated to want to cook, to want to do a lot of stuff. So if you've been in that rut, what kind of helped you get back out of it and get more into wanting to cook? So leave me a comment and let me know down below.
Kinda simple, kinda wishful about things, and you're kinda simple, but like a pistol, you fire. Sometimes you get under my skin like a lover, and sometimes you don't wanna come back 'cause you'd rather stay out with another.
So summer is here, and I found all of these cool little easy fruit cutting tools, gadgets on Amazon. I've seen them before. I've just was like, oh, I'm not gonna buy these and cut them up and cut up my fruit. And then over the summer, I'm like, we eat so much fruit that it would just be so helpful to have all of this stuff handy and make it so much easier for me to like want to cut fruit and stuff. Like there are times where I avoid buying a watermelon because I just don't feel like cutting it up. So I'm hoping that some of these gadgets will make it a little bit more easier for me to use. So the first thing that I bought was this pineapple cutter, and I don't think I had seen it before. So what you basically do is you get this little gadget and you stick it, you cut the top of the pineapple off, and then you twist it, and then it makes it so easy. Like I 10 out of 10 recommend this little gadget if you don't mind, like if you don't want to cut your pineapple and you want to just make it super easy. It took me like 3 minutes to do this. And if you want to cut them into smaller chunks, you can, but it cuts them into spirals, and you can either like grill your pineapples. If you've ever tried that, it's actually really, really good. Or use them, like you can put them on little cocktail drinks or anything. I don't know. I love pineapple. So anyway, I thought that this tool was, 10 out of 10 worth it.
You're such a nice guy when you're not just talking about yourself, and the way of how you dwell, I get it. Now I'm so tired of hearing all your stories.
The next thing that I got was it's like a watermelon cutter roller, so that you don't have to spend all this time cutting up your watermelon. So basically you just cut the watermelon in half. I cut it long ways, and then I cut off the end of it, and then you just grab this thing and literally just push it in, and then it already creates watermelon chunks for you. I, again, 10 out of 10 recommend this. This watermelon was a little bit softer, so that's the only thing, is that it kind of mushed it a little bit, but not too bad. I still recommend it. But if you get like a watermelon that's maybe a tiny bit more ripe, where it'll actually cut it in like perfect squares. So this was so easy. I literally only made 4 cuts, cutting it in half and then cutting off the 2 sides, and then rolled all of them up, and it was all pre-cut. So again, I 10 out of 10 recommend this if you don't like cutting up your watermelon. It also like keeps all of the juice inside. So if you like making little drinks or using watermelon juice for whatever reason, that's easy as well. The next little thing was this grape cutter, and it's not necessarily necessary for everyone. This is not a new tool. I've seen these before a lot. The reason why I bought this was because I've actually had an incident where a sailor had choked on a grape. She was already like almost 3 years old, so she knew how to chew and everything, but she was just talking. The grape got stuck in her throat, and we almost had to do like CPR to get it out. The most terrifying thing in my life. I never thought that would happen to me. So I wanted to buy that. I have more kids on the way, and I get nervous buying grapes for them. This little strawberry cutter, it cuts the ends off the strawberries. I already had this, and I also really like having this as well. So just a couple little gadgets that I bought that I do recommend. So it just makes cutting fruit a lot easier, and I do recommend all the little gadgets that I found on Amazon. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you give it a like if it gave you some sort of motivation to go back and go through some of the spaces that you haven't organized in a while. And if you are not already subscribed, then I really would love for you to join this amazing community and click that subscribe button. I have some more projects on the way that I would love for you guys to join me along this journey on. But here is the after picture, and I will see all of you guys in next week's video.